Welcome back to the Dfs Sweatshop. I am your host, the Dfs Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at Dfs Jerusalem. Yo, what's happening, man? We're gonna talk a little bit of MLB today. Had a pretty decent night last night, decent weekend overall. Broke even in NFL, made a little something in MLB. We're gonna talk NFL in our next segment, but let's go ahead and jump straight into what we can look forward to for tomorrow's slate, the 15-game joint we got in MLB. We've also got some stuff that we can look at from last night, see what happened. Let's go ahead and jump right in, man. The first thing I want to do is point out the Twitter poll only had 49 participants, and that means that everybody's so hyped about NFL. People are really not focused on MLB, which is a good thing for me, in my opinion, because I'm still all systems go in terms of MLB. I'm still rocking there, man. There's still money to be made. We've got, okay, now I put out the poll, who will be the gang stack of tonight's MLB main slate. You had coming in first place was the Cleveland Indians, followed by the Chicago White Sox, the Texas Rangers, and then the New York Yankees. Now, I was all over the White Sox and the Indians. The problem was I liked Carrasco so much that I couldn't afford to play him and still get a lot of Cleveland bats in my lineup. So what I did was I went mostly Chicago White Sox everywhere. Proved to be really good, man. They led the day in scoring. As a matter of fact, as you check out this next graphic, they were the gang stack of tonight's slate. I'm talking. I didn't have any Adam Engel. I didn't have him, but I had Abreu, Moncada, Yormer Sanchez, Avisel Garcia, Nicky Delmonico was somebody who I had in my lineups as well. This was the stack of the night. Awesome stack. You got some White Sox in. I knew you had a really solid evening. From an overall standpoint, now we're still waiting on the San Francisco and the Dodgers game to play. As we know, that game is probably going to be postponed. It's been delayed for quite some time now. So looking at whoever, all the teams on the day, you had the White Sox at the top with Abreu and Adam Engel. Nolan Arenado just hit one. That was a good one. You had Mitch Haniger, Francisco Lindor, LeMahieu, Yohan Moncada. So in the top 8 players, you had 3 of them were from the White Sox game. So if you used them, I know it helped you out a lot. Moving on to the top pitchers of the slate, of course, Carlos Carrasco, man, was the favorite all day. The biggest surprise to me was Stephen Brault in a spot where you had the Milwaukee Brewers at home against a pitcher like Brault, who's not a great pitcher. You thought maybe he would be fine, and maybe they would be fine, the Milwaukee Brewers, and that just wasn't the case, man. Stephen Brault, man, he crushed him. I'm talking about really pitched a really great game. Marco Estrada pitched a nice one against Baltimore. You saw Cole Hamels, who started off rough but still ended up playing a very decent game. Zach Greinke got knocked around a little bit in the beginning, but he made up for it. And I think, the score was like 2-2, and then he left the game, so he couldn't get the win. C. Sabathia, not horrible, not great. Jake Odorizzi here, but some of the duds, bro. Well, Chris Stratton and Kenta Maeda, that game is still in delay. You had Miles J, -7. Ariel Miranda, -7. Brandon Woodruff, who I had him everywhere. Woodruff was the only guy that I felt comfortable pairing Carrasco with. And that sucked. And what it was, I never got a piece of Woodruff when he was playing well. I never got a piece of him. And I was like, you know what? Oh, man, he's there. He's around the price point that I need to get the other bats that I like. Cool. So I settled for that pitching. I settled for Woodruff pitching. And I still cashed, but it could have been so much better. It could have been so much better. Kyle Frieden, nothing for him. Jason Hamill was bad, 4.3. So those were the duds on tonight. So let's go ahead and jump into the slate. Of course, you know I'm going to be rocking with Riddle QL. We've got, of course, 15 games on the slate, but that's from an all-day standpoint because you got the White Sox and the Kansas City Royals are going to be that first game on the slate. So we're going to be jumping straight to the main, man. First pitch goes out at 7:05. Chris Gray says he was on Estrada. That was a good call, bro. I should have been on him, man. I really should have. So let's go ahead. We're going to go check out DK. Oops. Go check out DK and stay tuned, man, because we're gonna do our first look at NFL point totals as well. That video's gonna be coming out fairly soon, so be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be a very solid way that we can. And I'm gonna talk more about that as we get into it, most definitely, man, because there's a few items that still need to be addressed in terms of what we can expect. Okay. Let's do it. And we got here 14 games. Let's get it in, bro. All right. Got that set. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so first game on the slate is going to be the Miami Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies. We've got a 5.1 run total and a 4.4 run total for the Phillies here. This game's at Citizens Bank Park. Very solid spot to hit. It's really a hitter situation, most definitely. You got Nick Pivetta at 6.6, Dylan Peters at 6.5. We take a look at what the Phillies do at the crib versus left-handed pitching. I don't think they're going to be bad at all. 18.1% K rate, 195 ISO with a 366 WOBA. This is over the last month. So that means I don't want anything to do with Dylan Peters. You've got Nick Pivetta at 6.6. Miami traveling to Philadelphia. Let's see how they look on the road versus righties. I imagine that they're not going to be bad at all. 21.8% K rate, a 185 ISO with a 327 WOBA. That's going to take both of these pitchers out of play for me. I'm going to be more concerned or more adept to playing some of the bats here. You look at the next game, we've got the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. Gio Gonzalez, 10.7 at the crib. You've got Julio Teheran at 7K. Atlanta on the road against lefties. I don't think that they've been good at all either, man. You got a 19% K rate, 163 ISO with a 315 WOBA. That's going to put the homie in play for me. I do like Gio Gonzalez in this spot. Beware, this game does have a possibility to delay or rain out. Julio Teheran at 7K, not a guy that I really want to play, not against the Washington Nationals here, not at home. The Nationals Park is not a hitter or pitcher spot. It's more of a neutral avenue, but still, at the same time, man, Teheran, not a guy that I love. He's been better on the road than he has been at home. Let's take a look at some of his splits. And, it depends on the lineup that the Nats roll out. Away against Philadelphia, 29. Away against Colorado, 27. Away against Philadelphia, -1. Away against the Dodgers, 12. Away against Washington, 26. So he's a much better pitcher on the road than he is at home. But it depends more. Let's say it depends on the lineup that the Nationals roll out. The Nationals roll out some weak shit, and I'm not afraid of it. Then I may be able to consider Julio Teheran in a spot or two. But I know I like Gio here. Next game we got is going to be the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays. Dylan Bundy, 8.9. Joe Biagini at 5.6. The Rogers Center, very solid spot to hit. That's going to take me off of Biagini without question. It's going to take me off of Biagini at 8.9. You look at Dylan Bundy over the last 3 starts, 3.6, that 50 WAP against the Seattle Mariners, 19, 25, 32, 29. That 3.6 against the Yankees, against my Yankees, could have been an aberration. You take a look at what the Toronto Blue Jays do at the crib versus righties. I'm sure that they've been okay. Middle of the pack here, 20.3% K rate, a 184 ISO with a 324 WOBA. Don't think I wanted to attack the Toronto Blue Jays here with Dylan Bundy, so I'm not going to be going that direction or Joe Biagini. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Oakland A's and the Boston Red Sox. I want to take a look at Boston and see what they do on the road. At Oakland, and see what they do on the road versus left-handed pitching, because I think they're going to be pretty. They're pretty bad. A 24% K rate, 104 ISO, 240 WOBA. That's going to easily put Eduardo Rodriguez in play for me at 6.7. We look at Sean Manaea at 5.9. Not a guy that I would want to play against the Red Sox at home, man. The Big Green Monster is of course, going to turn some home runs into doubles, but still, man, they're going to be hitting a lot. And I don't want to play Sean Manaea here at all against the Red Sox. I think not only are the Red Sox in line to score more runs, which will put Eduardo Rodriguez in line for the win, I just don't like what Oakland does on the road versus left-handed pitching. So no Manaea, but I will have some Rodriguez. Next game, we got the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Corey Kluber, check please. Give me all the Corey Kluber. Pour him on me, baby. Give me all the Corey Kluber I can stand. Excellent pitcher, 13.3. I don't even feel cheated by paying up that much for him. 39, 29, 29, 33 in his last 4 starts. That means he is ready to go. We look at the Detroit Tigers and what they do on the road versus righties. Not very good lately, man. Not very good. 23.6% K rate here. 154 ISO with a 296 WOBA. Yo, there's no way I'm playing any of the Detroit Tigers bats or Matt Boyd against the Cleveland Indians, but I will have some Corey Kluber. This is the hottest team in baseball. Speaking of the Cleveland Indians, the next game we got is the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. You got Blake Snell 7.6, Sonny Gray 9.6. You look at what the Tampa Bay Rays do at the crib versus right-handed pitching, and I would venture to say that some of the lefty bats can give righties trouble. You look at the 25.9% K rate, the 218 ISO, and the 324 WOBA. That is very good, and what that means is either Sonny Gray's going to get hit the fuck up, or he's going to shut them all the way down, and they're going to strike out a ton. I would venture to say that Sonny Gray is going to be in play for me at 9.6. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to play him. I kind of like him in this spot versus left-handed pitching. I'm sure they're not going to be bad at all. Here we are. Bam. Ooh, 19.8% K rate. Loving that. The 230 ISO with a 394 WOBA. Fuck yeah. Give me some of the Yankees here. I want nothing to do with Blake. Next game we got is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. You got Garrett Cole at 9.4. Brett Suter, 5.1. Going back to the Milwaukee Brewers, man, and what they do at the crib versus righties, they should be a lot better than they are. I know they were bad against lefties, but against righties, man, let's take a look. 26.5% K rate, huge K rate, but a huge ISO to boot. 233 ISO with a 338 WOBA. And it is funny because people are gonna this is gonna be funny because people are not gonna play Garrett Cole because you're gonna look at it, you're gonna be like, man, the other dude just shut them the fuck down, man. The dude from the Pirates last night, Brault, he shut them down. There's no way I'm gonna play. Well, Brault. It was a totally different situation. I believe Brault was a lefty. And Milwaukee at the crib against right-handed pitching is very good. They do strike out a lot, but at the same time, man, they can really hit for a lot of extra bases. So this could like make Garrett Cole sort of a pivot play for me. If I hear a lot of people talk about playing Garrett Cole, I am gonna load up on some Milwaukee bats. If people kind of share the same sentiment, Brock got lucky is what Jay Guns is saying. But if people, I mean, 'cause I really don't see Milwaukee just shutting it down and being bad like that throughout this whole series. But if I hear people talk a lot about Garrett Cole, I'm gonna jump on some Milwaukee bats. I'm gonna attack that chalk. If not, then I'm gonna go sparingly. But I don't like Garrett Cole here. I do think Brett Suter is a guy that I can look to at 5.1. Suter has had some really, really good starts this year, and that's a very cheap price. 26 against Chicago Cubs is his last good one. 30 against Baltimore was another one. But since then, not great. 10, 2, 2, 8.95 against Washington. And those are really tough offenses, man. St. Louis, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Washington. Those are pretty tough offenses. And I think against Pittsburgh, a team that just doesn't like crush it and go ham all the time, he could maybe be able to pitch well. Oh man, Denver just fumbled. That's tough. So let's take a look. We've got the Pittsburgh Pirates on the road versus lefties. Let's see how good they've been recently. Not good at all, man. 27.1% K rate. That's high. A .067 ISO with a 234 WOBA. That's going to put the homie Brett Suter in play for me most assuredly. Take a look at the next game. We've got the New York Mets and the Chicago Cubs. Robert Gesselman, 5.8. Jose Quintana, 10.9. Yo, Gesselman had a really solid start last time out. I don't see that coming against Chicago Cubs here. We are in Wrigley Field. The one thing I do want you to pay attention to there is 10 mile per hour winds coming back toward the infield. It's a 1% chance of very light rain, 70-degree temperature with a 59% humidity and a 55 dew point. So there's a very good chance that balls that should be getting up out of there won't, and the wind will hold them up. So with that being the case, I think Jose Quintana at 10.9 is a guy that we can look at. I don't want to play Gesselman in this spot. I would more lean towards some Chicago Cubs bats here. Next game we got is the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers. We got Marco Gonzalez at 5.3, Miguel Gonzalez at 6.9. Yo, I've been leaning on Miguel Gonzalez a few times this season, man. I really have. And I want to take a look at this. And we look at what the Seattle Mariners do on the road versus right-handed pitching. That should give us a good look at how we can attack them in terms of pitching. 21.1% K rate, a 145 ISO with a 311 WOBA. Miguel Gonzalez, man, I think he's going to be a play for me. We got 11.5 run total here, so beware of that. 8 mile per hour wind here. Globe Life Park is a really solid spot for hitters. So, you don't have to ride with me on that, but I kind of like Miguel Gonzalez at 6.9. I will be playing some Texas bats here against Marco Gonzalez. We look at what the Texas Rangers do at the crib versus left-handed pitching, and it'll be right at the top, man. 17.8% K rate here, a 291 ISO with a 439 WOBA. Give me all of the Texas Rangers. I think I was a day early on them. I love them in this spot. Next game we got is the San Diego I'm about to say the Chargers, the San Diego Padres, and the Minnesota Twins. You got Travis Wood 5.4, Kyle Gibson at 8.2. Yo, Gibson has had a couple of decent starts, I believe, lately. The 24, 24, 28 did get hit up for only 5.75 against the Kansas City Royals. Um, but you look at San Diego, man, and what they do on the road versus righties, like they just have not been awesome. I'm talking 26.2% K rate, a 137 ISO with a 273 WOBA. That is bad, man. That's not good at all. And that's going to make me really consider grabbing some Kyle Gibson at 8.2. I think I can use him. I really think I think he can be used here. Travis Wood, not so much. We know what Dozier does against lefties. We know what the Minnesota Twins at home against lefties do automatically, man. They've been pretty decent. 11.8% K rate, very small K rate. 256 ISO with a 464 WOBA. That's going to put some of the Minnesota Twins in play for me, most certainly. The next game we got is the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Robert Stevenson, Lance Lynn. Yo, Stevenson had a really nice start last couple of times out. 24, 22, and 28 here. We've got the Cincinnati Reds. That's going to be on the road against Lance Lynn. Let's take a look at what. Okay, because this is tough. This is shaping up to be a really solid pitching spot if it's not wet. If it's dry, it doesn't rain much. This is shaping up to be a really solid spot for pitching. Okay, if you got 10 mile per hour wind in an already huge ballpark, it's a pitcher's park already. You got 10 mile per hour winds coming back toward the infield. Ball's gonna have a little trouble getting up out of there. You got Lance Lynn, Robert Stevenson, two guys that are capable on the mound, but you've got some really good hitters on both sides. So let's take a look at what the numbers say. We look at the St. Louis Cardinals and what they do on the road, at home versus right-handed pitching. Where we got them at? Okay, 20.9% K rate here, a 153 ISO with a 333 WOBA. What that means is they can hit it, but they're just not gonna hit for a lot of extra bases here. And I think that puts Stevenson in play. Robert Stevenson is in play. You look at what the Cincinnati Reds do on the road versus right-handed pitching. That's going to give us a better look at them. And I would say that they were better than that. Though they've been bad too. A 21.7% K rate, 134 ISO, and a 309 WOBA. That's not good at all. Man, wow. So Lance Lynn is going to be in play for us as well. Next game we got Colorado Rockies game 2 and the Arizona Diamondbacks. We got John Gray, Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker in his last couple of starts, I believe he had one good one and one decent one. Okay, yeah, 19 against the Dodgers, 31.65 in his last one against the Rockies, and that was in Colorado. The difference is that there's no difference because Chase Field is like Coors Light. So if you play Taijuan Walker in Colorado, you could look at it as, woo, I'm glad I got away with playing a pitcher in Coors, and I'm not going to try that shit again. Or if you want to, you can take another shot at it. Me, probably not so much. You see the Rockies, they jockey for playoff position. They actually did have a really solid showing last night against Arizona in Arizona. It's going to be very hot, 104 degrees here. Just don't think that I'm going to have to play. I'm going to be able to play either pitcher in this spot. Just don't like either pitcher in the spot. I'd much rather atone with some of the bats. Next game we got is the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We got Justin Verlander, 11.6. Get Richards at 6.4. Don't want to play a pitcher against Houston. I'm good on that. Take a look on the other side. You got the Los Angeles Angels here, and what they do at home versus right-handed pitching is going to tell the story on how I feel about them. Pretty decent, 19.7% K rate, 206 ISO with a 355 WOBA. Ooh, man, that's pretty juicy. That's going to put them in play for me, man. And no Verlander, no Richards. Give me some of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim here. I'm going to go check on Houston to see if they do on the road versus righties, just to be sure. A 19.3% K rate, 155 ISO, 281 WOBA. That's crazy. Because at one point in the season, recently, this is like one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've since fallen off, man. They've had some injuries, too, some tough ones. Last game on the slate is going to be Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. 1% chance of very light rain here. We got Clayton Kershaw at 13K, Johnny Cueto at 7.3. I am not playing for Kershaw. I'm just not doing it. I don't see the upside in it. He's not going to pitch long enough. He hasn't been K'ing out people a lot. He hasn't been pitching deep into games. I'm good. I'm not going to play Kershaw. You look at his last few starts. I faded him last time. 8.85 against the Colorado Rockies. 30 against San Diego. That was decent. 7 against Atlanta, 28, 45, 39, 40. So, of course, he's been very good a lot of times, man, but I'm just not doing it, man. I can't do it. Johnny Cueto, 7.3. Don't really love him either. This could be like a game fade for me, where I just don't fuck with anything from this game. Nothing from this game. I just don't like anything from this game. So, let's take a look back at some of the pitching prospects that we've got. And this is a rough draft of pitchers, man. Of course, we're gonna come together inside of the line drive at 5 o'clock this afternoon once the lineups come out, because I don't give a fuck what nobody say, bro. You can't really do shit build in terms of building your lineups until the actual lineups come out. Once they come out, then we can sit down together, pen and pad, and actually go through it and build our lines together, which is what we do inside our line drive. Very soft. The soft list right now is going to be Corey Kluber, who I would kind of guarantee is going to be a main pitcher of mine. Jose Quintana, Gio Gonzalez, Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, Robert Stevenson, Miguel Gonzalez, and Eduardo Rodriguez will be the cheapest guy. Well, excuse me, Brett Suter. And Brett Suter will be the cheapest guy to be looking at. Remember, this is a 15-game slate. So the pitching pool is kind of big right now. We're going to shrink that down to about 4 pitchers by 5 o'clock today, and we will be in there. So if you wanted to be a part of that, man, joining us inside of the VIP, where all the homies at, in the Facebook VIP, very simple, man. Go to the website. It's www.dfssweatshop.com. There you will be ushered into the very best Facebook group online, man, the very best movement online. You see us winning, you see how it's rocking. Come on in, man. We would love to help you out. And after a while, man, you're going to turn to help somebody else. And that's the beautiful thing about the sweatshop, bro. Like, cats come in, and after a week or two of learning how we chop it up, as soon as the next guy comes in, they are, like, rushing to help him, too. It's crazy. It's like some altruistic crazy shit. Like, it's wild the way one guy comes in, helps, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you just got here last week, and you're already, like, helping the shit out of the new guy. And that's dope. That's what I love to see. So it's beautiful, man. Thank y'all so much for being a part of it, man. And remember, if you're on DraftKings, man, keep it 200. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 250. You're rocking with me, the motherfucking best. So that means you're always keep it 300. Peace. We out. Stay tuned for NFL. Let's get it.